Hi guys, I'm Sammy Kinghorn, and last week I was in a live on the Paralympic site for when Hendrik spoke to me. It was really cool, it was really nice, him asking me questions, and this week it's my turn to ask Jerome some questions. So hopefully he'll be joining us right now and we can get some questions going. I've never actually spoke to Jerome properly, so this is quite cool and quite exciting. He's always the guy that's like going around the village, so happy all the time. So I'm super excited, and here he is. Hi.
What's going on?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? You're loading on my end. Okay, I got you now.
There you go. You got me.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm fantastic. Let me turn up this volume so I'll be able to hear you. Perfect. Here we go.
Yeah, I might do the same on mine as well. There we go.
Yeah, I can see you.
There you go. In my little home gym at home.
I see. I see. How's it going? How's training going?
It's going really well. Yeah, it's obviously tough at
Awesome.
the time, but it's
Awesome.
yeah, it is actually going really well. Do you want to introduce yourself to everyone? Then go for it.
Hi, how you guys doing out there on Instagram? My name is Jerome Avery. I'm a guide runner for the U.S. Paralympic team. I've been guide running since 2004. So I'm the grandfather of guide runners out there right now. But preparing, of course, next year for the Paralympic Games in Tokyo. And I run with David Brown, who is currently the fastest totally blind athlete in the world.
Wow. Well, that's a fun fact I didn't know. That's amazing. Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
We'd start with like a little this and that, just to get to know you a bit more personally outside of sport. So just a couple of quick fire questions. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
So, tea or coffee?
Tea or coffee?
Yeah. Do you drink?
I like coffee. I'll do coffee in the morning. That definitely gets me wired.
Pancakes or waffles?
Oh, let's see. I think I'll go with pancakes, but can we substitute the waffles for crepes? Because if they have crepes in there, then that's the one I'm choosing.
Okay, yeah, we'll do crepes. I prefer that as well.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Mornings or evenings?
I think I quickly became a morning person now because of my new little guy right here. Say hi, Apollo. Yeah.
Oh, so adorable.
Yeah, say hi to the world. So this is my new little rescue buddy that's been quarantined with me, and he has definitely been helping me out.
Yeah, I've seen he has his own Instagram page as well.
Oh yeah, I created his whole page. I got talked about by some of my friends and everything, but you know, when you become a proud dog father, you just want to share, you know, the experiences of your dog child with the world.
Yeah, well, I guess that kind of answers my next one, which was cats or dogs. So
Dogs for sure.
Definitely a dog.
Dogs for sure.
What about summer or winter?
Summer. I'm a summer guy. I love heat. It could be hot. It doesn't matter. I just need heat. Humidity, dry, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was not meant to be born in Scotland. I do not enjoy the cold. Not fun.
I heard it gets pretty cold out there too.
Yeah. Today it was like it's the first time it rained in 3 weeks, which is quite impressive for Scotland, I think. But it hit it hard. We had good thunder and lightning and everything, so it was pretty bad. But you get used to it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So what about books or movies?
I'm a movie guy.
Yeah.
This is my problem with books. I'll read it. I'll get excited about reading it, but there's like so many books that I've read that I've actually haven't finished. But I prefer movies, to be honest.
Yeah, I think probably.
If you guys have any good books out there that you think that I'd be interested in, please let me know.
Yeah, plenty of time to start reading books. It's a good time.
Yeah.
What about singing or dancing?
I'm a dancer. I got the moves. I think that's what kind of helped me as a guide runner. You definitely have to be in sync with the runner that you're with. And I love dancing. I love being silly. I love, you know, trying to be creative and making up dances. And with TikTok and everything that's going on, I should be out there doing them. But yeah, I actually haven't. It's surprising to me, you know, but I love dancing.
Definitely. What about gym training or track training?
I like track. I definitely like track. It gives me as an individual athlete, it's a little bit easier, but as a guide runner, we're constantly tweaking things due to the fact that David Brown is either running faster or his mechanics are changing. So we are constantly training to get that right. So, you know, I'd say the track for sure.
Yeah. How did you get into guide running? How did that come about?
Well, in 2004, I'm gonna date myself a little bit. 2004, I came up short at the Olympic trials for myself. I qualified for the Olympic trials, and I was currently training at the Olympic Training Center at the time in Chula Vista. Now it's the Chula Vista Elite Training Facility. Came up short, made it to the semis, got knocked out. And a good friend of mine who was a leg amputee who trained in our group at that time by the name of Marlon Shirley had told me, he said, hey, the Paralympics are looking for a guide runner for Greece, Athens, Greece. Would you be interested? Mind you, I didn't make the team. So I was like, hey, why not? Free trip to Greece. And the first person that I connected with was Lex Gillette, who is one of the world-class Paralympians. So it was a no-brainer for me to be involved. After I met the guy, we immediately hit it off. And I actually had 2 weeks to prepare for the Paralympic Games. Mind you, I've never been around anybody that was blind at all.
Yeah.
And you know, I've learned a lot. I was basically thrown into the wolves. And it was after his first jump, I want to say, he ended up getting a silver medal. And putting him on that podium, seeing or being a part of that journey, seeing the smile on his face and the excitement of them giving him the medal, I just knew that that was another outlet for me. You know, if my personal individual career as a, you know, chasing the Olympic dream wouldn't work out, I can always be a Paralympic guide runner and still be involved in the sport.
That's really cool. Yeah, like, it's weird because I wasn't born with a disability and I wasn't really around anyone with disability before. And I remember when I first got involved in disability sport, it was always incredibly motivating to be around people with disabilities. Was it the same for you? How was it getting into the world of disability? Were you ever involved in disability? Obviously, you said you had the amputee in your group, but before that, as a child, were you ever involved with disability, or were you just kind of thrust straight into the world of disability?
No, I just got thrown straight into the world. The first person that I was actually around that was a leg amputee was Marlon Shirley, and that was in 2003. So I was able to see the blade. I was able to understand a little bit, but I still honestly didn't know about the whole Paralympic movement. And even to see the growth of the Paralympic movement from 2003 to now, it's skyrocketed. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the same as me. I got into, so I had my accident in 2010. I got into the sport in 2012, and even in that short time from 2012 to now, there's been such a massive movement in parasports. I can't imagine the movement from 2014. It's been pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of people are paying attention now, and it's definitely. I think it's just amazing what the sponsors are now doing. You know, the people that are jumping on board to support and share the movement. It's something that is needed. GB does an extremely good job at that. So it was real good to be a part of the World Championships out there and the Paralympic Games in 2012.
Yeah. So did you have to, you know, when I was first introduced to disability sport, I never knew the right thing to say to people. Did you ever get caught up? And my friends still get worried. Like, I like to play tricks on my friends. My friends will be like, "Do you want to go for a walk?" Like, "Do you want to go for a walk?" And I'll be like, "Oh, if I could." Like, I just like to play tricks. And did you find that hard, like how you would say things, or were you always just kind of go with it? And
I think at the beginning, I pretty much was a little weary of the right things to say, the wrong things to say. But Lex Gillette assured me, hey, you know what? Just talk to me. Let me know. If you have anything you want to know about the movement or visually impaired, I'm an open book. So he made it easier for me to ask those questions, to you know, to make sure I was saying the correct things, and that tended to help me out a lot. So now it's to the point, to be honest, I've been around somebody that has vision, you know, that is visually impaired. Sometimes the guys that I work with, I forget that they are visually impaired because we're around so much that I'll either walk out thinking that they're walking beside me. So just different things like that.
Yeah, I always found, like, when I first got into sport, like, disabled people are far more ruthless between other disabled people than anyone else could be on the outside in. Like, I was just like, you can't say that. Oh my goodness, like, you can't say that.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, it's the way we are. You just kind of got to be ruthless about it. And I think that always made me feel so comfortable around everyone so quickly.
Mhm.
So chill
I mean,
out.
you quickly learn. You quickly learn from all different classifications and all. And the cool thing about it, I'm able to share anybody that I see walking around on the streets that may possibly have a disability, that I can go and talk to them and introduce them to the Paralympic movement, or ask them have they heard about it. That's also a cool thing too, reaching out to everybody with different disabilities and sharing my knowledge through them.
Yeah, definitely. It'll definitely help too. So I think some people get a bit scared to approach people with disabilities. So having you that's been involved and can go and talk about it is probably very helpful for able-bodied people to be able to get into it.
Yeah, I talk to everybody anyway, so it's always good for me.
That's good. So I was kind of stalking you and Googling you loads today, and I seen there's a nickname Bravery for you and David Brown, which I thought was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
How was it? How did that come about? Was that just random?
Could you repeat that? You cut out on me a little bit.
Your nickname. I've seen today that you had a nickname
Ah,
Bravery. You and David.
okay. Okay, that
cool.
actually came about through his sister. His sister had the idea,
Oh.
and even at the beginning, it didn't even click to me until I sat back and I was like, Bravery. Oh, Brown and Avery. Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing. And then after that, we just ran with it.
Yeah,
We kept it going.
That's a great one. How did you meet? How did you and David Brown meet?
I actually met David in 2010 before we actually paired up in 2014. When he got into the sport, he was real young, and they were trying to introduce him and get him involved. And our first race we were at was pin relays, which was a huge platform in the States. And we ran the 4x1 relay together. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, for the 4x1 relay, not only are you connected and tethered to the person, but the guide runner actually has to say go. We're allowed 2 lanes instead of 1 lane. The guide runner actually has to say go to the guy, make sure he's still in the same the 2 lanes and not going out of the lanes, and also grabbing the baton and handing it off to the other guide runner. Or if they have a vision impairment, they're a height and they're in a higher classification, I'm handing it off to that person if he doesn't have a guide runner. So that's pretty interesting too.
Yeah. So so the blind person, they hand the baton over.
No, the guide runners are handing the batons off.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that must take a lot of. Yeah, you've got to be very connected and you must have to understand each other a lot to be able to do that.
Oh yeah. So when he first got involved in it, I was pretty seasoned as a guide runner, so it was easy for me to make those adjustments to match his cadence, to run with him. And through the years, he had other guide runners, and it just so happened that we connected in 2014, and we've been inseparable since then.
Cool. So I was wondering, with the tether, so with my racing chair, obviously there's some restrictions, like in the height and the size of wheels and all that kind of things. Is there the same kind of restrictions to the tether, or can you just? So
as of last year, everybody that runs as a guide runner, we all have the same tether length, and we all have the same tether now. It's about 30 centimeters long. It's a tether with it's a string, and it has 2 loops on the end. And we used to be able to bring our own tethers in, and you had different countries that had their own little ways of linking it in. So some countries would have their whole fingers linked around with another tether. You had some people that were tethered by the wrist, but now everybody is tethered by the fingers now.
So you're just literally holding on by fingers?
Yep, by fingers. Yep, you lock your fingers in.
Okay. So you're always making sure you're just running with your fist firmly.
Yep, making sure that you have it locked in. I mean, if I was able to make some adjustments to it to make it better and easier for the athletes so they won't loosen up and fall through, I could definitely be a part. I would love to be a part of that. But as of right now, the tether, it's universal. Everybody has the same tether.
Have you ever dropped it, or is it ever snapped or anything in a race?
We've actually had snapped the tether previous, and that's when your instincts as a guide runner and making those quick adjustments without the tether come into play. I would either pull David in with my hand, or he'll rub alongside of me while we're running. So we're pretty much in sync, elbow to elbow.
Okay.
And communication, and I think different guide runners talk about or guide run differently. Me personally, I feel like it's very important for a guide runner to communicate. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm running with someone who doesn't know exactly where he is at on the track. So
Yeah.
me having the experiences of knowing for the first 200, I mean, for the first 10 meters, I need to be in my drive phase. After that 10 meters, I need to be coming up. I need to make sure my arms are moving. I also need to know exactly where I am on the race. I
Yeah.
think that communication part has to play a role into where David is able to hear me while we're running. So those are the things that I definitely do while I'm running. I'm talking to him constantly. I'm having a full-blown conversation. Stay in tight, David. There you go. Good job. Come on, pick it up. Here he comes on the inside. Keep your body up tall. We're at the 50-meter mark. Come on, use your arms. Here he comes. 10 meters. Let's go. And even with those adjustments, he knows with 20 meters to go, he has to pick it up. If I'm not talking to him and I'm just running, he won't get that sense of direction as far as knowing where he is at in the race.
Yeah.
If you're dead tired and you have 10 meters to go in a race and I'm shouting out, you have 10 meters, he's going to give it to me, give his all for that last 10 meters. So I feel like that is very important for him to know exactly where we are on the track.
Yeah, I think I would really appreciate someone just being like 10 meters left. I think I would push a little bit harder if I was just like, someone's there. Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask. I didn't know, like I've watched so many of your races today, and you can hardly see you speaking. And like I was like, I didn't know how often you do speak from the start, like even from the call room. Are you always chatty, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, of course, in a call room, everybody is in their zone. So I try to give David as much space as possible. You know, we're crowded in the call room. He has his nerves. Me, I'm not too nervous. I'm more anxious and excited to get out there to show you what David is capable of doing from our training and what we're doing. So I'll kind of give him a little bit of space. He'll be sitting there in his corner or focused or doing high knees, and I'll constantly check on him and make sure that he's ready to go. I mean, as a guide runner, we have so many, you know, obligations. And you also become a sports psychologist. You have to know when it's time to give the runner you're running with space. He needs to focus. He needs to be alert and in his zone too. You know, those are the different things that I have to take into consideration while I'm a guide runner, so he can be prepared and ready to go as fast as he wants.
That's cool. I really didn't realize that you would. I knew obviously you would spend a lot of time together and you're probably really in sync, but I didn't realize you'd be. It's like obviously seems like there's quite a friendship there, more than just you being his guide runner. It seems like you have. I guess you probably need the same dreams as he has to be there and to be fully invested in his ambition and what he wants to achieve as well.
Yeah, most definitely. I think as a guide runner, and me personally, I knew 2008 would be my last personal hoorah if I wanted to, you know, try to get to the games as an individual athlete. And then after that, of course, me personally, my personal best in the 100 meter is 10:17. In the United States, sorry, but 10:17 isn't going to get you on the Olympic team. So I knew that I wasn't going to make the Olympic team. And that's when guiding really took effect of, you know what, let's see how this works out. Let's pursue this. Let's see if this opens up any doors and creates other opportunities, in which it did. You know, it taught me how to be more vocal. It taught me how to communicate. It also taught me how to be more patient, which is very important in being a guide runner. Super important. And just different things. I've learned a lot about myself, the selflessness of being a guide runner. And that's what it takes in order to be, I think, a successful guide runner. You have to understand that you're not first. You're not the Batman. You're going to play the Robin role. You're still going to be a part of the team. But at the end of the day, like I always say, success through selflessness. You know, if he wins, I automatically win. So those are the give and takes that you have as a guide runner. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
A lot of people tend to think too, you know, I'm faster than the guy that I'll be running with. It'd be easy for me to be a guide runner, but it's not so necessarily true. You know, not only do you need to be faster, you need to be stronger. You need to be able to make those verbal cues and those quick adjustments. What if he veers into you? How are you going to make those adjustments without panicking? While you're racing, you also need to make those adjustments if he veers out, because mind you, we get 2 lanes. If he steps on the outside lane, he get disqualified. And also, if I cross before him at the end of the finish line, he also gets disqualified. So those are the things that I have to take in consideration. I have to make sure that I'm not getting overly excited, which I tend to do, but remember my role as a guide runner. He has to cross first at all times. And those are the things that we practice in practice. We do well in practice. You know, I always make those adjustments to make sure we won't have those issues in a competition.
Yeah. So is there like a more efficient side to run on? Do you know what I mean? Like, would you always like run on his right, you always run on his left? Is that just preference, or is that?
You know, I think it's something that that the athlete chooses. You know, his preference. It all depends on what he wants to do. Me personally, it was honestly, I started on David's left side. But being different heights and running differently from each other, mind you, David is more of a power sprinter. So he's aggressive. He likes to take off. And me, I am more of finesse. You know, I like to open my stride up. I have to make those adjustments as a guide runner to match David Brown.
Okay.
So it was obviously harder at the beginning to match his and make those adjustments. So the inside of my left hip, it was giving me issues. Once we made those adjustments and I started running on the right side, I never had that problem again, because the right side was obviously my stronger side. So practice makes perfect.
Yeah. And does it make any difference running like round a bend than it is to running on a straight, being obviously tethered together?
I personally love the straight, but I'm really good on the curve as well. I like David to be on the inside of me. So if he veers in, normally on a curve, you will want to swing out a little bit. There's no swinging out because I'm on his outside. So he's able to hug the curve a lot longer and be in tight. He doesn't veer out. He stays into me. And I will make sure that he's in the right area while we're running as a guide runner.
So do you train together every single day? Or
every single day except for possibly Wednesday. But even on our Wednesday, our rest and recovery day, we're still active. So we may just do a warm-up, but he has a strength coach that he's working with, you know, hands-on every single day as well. So, but that's, every day except for Wednesday and Sunday. Those are the days that David Brown gets a little bit of a break from me from training so much and being around each other.
Oh, that's good. So you must get on really well. Do you do things like outside of sport as well together, or do you tend to try and just keep it sport?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely hang out. We go to the beach every now and then. I'll take him to get his hair cut because he got to look fresh on the camera and stuff like that. Or just little things, you know, that we'll occasionally do. But being involved, I think it's and the success we have comes from, you know, that relationship. And that tether pretty much symbolizes that bond that we have between each other. That tends to help, you know, we have concerns about each other, well-being off the track, not just on the track. But we're also hard on each other on the track. Yeah. You know, I know what David Brown is capable of doing. And on my side, I know what he knows what I'm capable of doing. So when he's ready to go, even if I'm not feeling it, I have to be ready to go, no matter what. You know, those are the things also in being a guide runner. There's no off days for me. There's no having an injury. You know, I'm there to make sure David Brown is ready to go at all times. Perfect example is 2017 at London at World Championships. Going into the race, 30 meters, all of a sudden my abductor strained. So I'm running with this guy and literally communicating and holding it like, come on, stay tight, keep your body up tight, and talking to him, but in agony, in pain. By the next day, I couldn't even run. So those are the things that you really have to fight through and understand, you know, and to this day, there's a lot of people that don't know that that's what happened in a race. Because in the 200, which was 2 days later, I was able to prepare myself. Luckily, I had David Brown. He trusted in me enough to run with him in the 200, and our coach, Joaquin Cruz, to line up with him. But at the end of the race, you can see a little bit I was in pain. and I literally stumbled at the race. But luckily, I stumbled enough to reach my arm across and get him across that finish line. We didn't win, unfortunately, but I was able to get him on that medal stance. And those are the things that come into play as a guide runner, knowing your role. You have to battle through.
Yeah, you must have to push yourself because you are there for, you're there for David, aren't you? You're giving it all to what he wants to achieve. And yeah, that's so. Do you, when you're in a race, obviously you, as you've said, you speak to him all the way through the race. When it's finished, do you tell him he's won? Do you like?
I think he pretty much knows he's run by my reaction and the tether that is connected. 2016, when we crossed the finish line, I'm ripping my arm, screaming, "There you go, David, there you go." So he said, "Oh, I'm assuming I won." And I was like, yeah, you won. Just different things like that. I tend to get overly excited, and he can easily tell by the tether or through my excitement that we won. And I obviously let him know as soon as we crossed the finish line. Different things.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And do you argue often, or is it quite a nice?
Of course. I think me and David are that old married couple that are constantly around each other, and we know how to press each other's buttons. But I think we also know how to press each other's buttons in the right way. We know how to keep each other motivated. We know how to keep each other going. And those are the things that tend to help us during our training. As we train, there's things that I'll do with David and then things that I'll do as individually, because not only do I have to make sure I'm able to keep that speed, but I have to make sure I'm able to be running faster than David. Yeah. So I'll do different intervals by myself at practice. So not only am I running with David, but I'll jump in and do some intervals by myself. And if we see a time that he knows that I can run faster, he'll start with "Oh, you're getting old." He knows how to press my buttons. You don't have it anymore. And then that's where I'll go, "Oh, that's what you think." And I'll come back in a different interval and I'll run faster. So he knows what he's doing. Vice versa. I'm like, okay, you got these other guys that are running fast, Brazil, France, China. What do you, in practice? And then all of a sudden he gets quiet. And I know when he gets quiet, David Brown gets pretty deadly at practice, and he picks it up. So we know how to press each other's buttons, not just in the ways which you would normally press each other's button to make them angry, but to keep us going, keep it positive, keep that motivation there.
Yeah, so it's obviously you are both very motivating on each other. Do you have anyone else that really inspires you in sport or motivates you that you tend to look on?
There's a lot of people that motivate me. I've had the opportunities to watch you run watch you race numerous times. I don't know, but a couple of times I come by and I'll say hi to you, but you tend to be in a zone, so I don't know if your focus is obviously different from my focus, because my focus is like, we got this. So I'll say hi to people, but you zone out a little bit. But you've said hi to me a couple of times. But there's a lot of people. You have right now I might be going blank, but there's from Germany, they're doing some amazing things. From the leg amputees, they're phenomenal right now. You have Japan, and of course me being biased because of what I do, and guide running and the visually impaired community. Brazil is phenomenal. Yeah. From the men's side to the women's side, what they have going on, and that's what I'm trying to create in the United States with my nonprofit that I have, that I'm working on, and hopefully it'll be up and running at the end of May. What they have going on is phenomenal from every different classifications. They're working with men's and women's, and you tend to see a lot of the same guide runners that stay in the pool, whether or not they move around and work with females to males. You kind of see them playing different role as guide runners. And I think that's why they've had a lot of success in Brazil. And that's what I kind of want with us in the States. We have a small pool of elite sprinters or distance runners in that vision impaired category, from men to women. And I want to branch that out. And the cool thing about, of social media. And
Yeah.
after the games in 2016, I had a lot of mothers and fathers and just random people reaching out to me. Hey, my son or daughter is visually impaired.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in this area that you know that can possibly help me out? Is there anybody that you know that would be willing to train with my daughter or son?
Yeah.
And me being in the position I am in, I know a lot of post-collegiate athletes that or former elite athletes that want to get involved into the Paralympics now. So
Yeah.
it's now connecting people. And that's one thing that I'm really working on, is building that catalog and making it easier to connect people. And not only through that, but also through anybody with a disability. I definitely want to branch that out to anybody in the United States, connecting people, whether or not you want to just work on strength training. I know amazing strength trainers that constantly work around someone with disability, whether they're arm amputees, they're leg amputees, they're visually impaired, they're in a chair. They specialize in this. So how can we connect everybody to grow this sport?
Yeah.
And I'm doing my best on my end to branch this out to, because it became, being involved in the Paralympics, it became much bigger than me. I want to see the sport grow bigger than where it's at now.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'm saying, like, it's I was so lucky that, when after my accident, my physiotherapist was so into sport and she got me into it so easily. But I get messages the same, like you're saying, of parents, and they just want it. It's so nice when like, I obviously, I compete because I want to be the best in the world, but I also compete to inspire the next generation, and I compete to just for other disabled people to look at me and go, wow, I can do something, I can stay fit. And it doesn't have to be at the elite level, it is just about staying fit. And I love training almost more than I do racing, and it's something that I will always do forever. And there genuinely means nothing more to me. We have a little girl in Scotland, and honestly, the first time I met her, she was like, I'm going to be faster than you. And I'm like, good. I want you to be faster than me. I want the sport to get faster and faster. I don't want, my world record to stand forever. I want people to be faster and for the sport to just continually improve all the time. And it sounds like that's exactly what you want as well.
Yeah, the whole Paralympic movement is growing due to what you are doing and what other elite athletes are doing from all over the world. People are paying attention. The movement is growing, and it shows through sponsorships that athletes are able to receive now too as well. It's showing that they value what we do and they want to share it with the world. So hats off to all those sponsors. I'm a name drop a little bit. Team Toyota, who I'm with, not only Team Toyota, but On Running, to Xfinity, to Clean Athletics. Thank you guys so much for helping me out and keeping me involved and sharing the movement of Paralympics. And there's a lot of sponsors that are out there they're doing their part, to grow the sport. And I feel that it's a strong thing. You have so many elite athletes that overcame different obstacles in life. I can't sit there and complain about, hey, my story is tough. I've had a hamstring injury, but I'm battling back. Being around people who've had to overcome sight, who've had to overcome, obviously being born with, no legs, or not being able to use some of their limbs. How could I say something, or how could my story be better than that, when they find different ways of making it happen and being great, being extremely great at what they do? You can't.
Yeah, I find that every day whenever I go training or anything, it's always, you're always seeing someone, and you get that everyone gets some days, everyone gets down sometimes, and they're a bit like, oh gosh, like, just can't really be bothered today. And then you're like, but they're doing it. And if they're doing it, then I can get off my bum and do it too. Like, there's no excuses when you do see people pushing their bodies to the limit, and they're probably in pain, and they're probably struggling, and they just keep pushing themselves to the limit. I think that's a special thing about parasport. It's, you're seeing people that have gone through extreme diversity. You know, you meet the people that are being like, you know, my mum and dad were told that I would die by the age of 5, or my mum and dad were told, and they're out there winning all these medals and pushing themselves each day, which is, yeah, it's phenomenal. And I love telling new people about parasport, so they start watching it, and then watching them just get as motivated as I am by my own teammates.
Yeah. I mean, just imagine where it's at right now, where it's going to be next year in Japan, and what they're doing. I know that they're going to be prepared and ready to go. Imagine from Japan to Paris, and then of course we're going to be bringing it back to LA, which I'm super excited. I may not be competing, but I will still find a way to be involved, and hopefully by then it'll be even that much bigger. You know, we'll have so many other guide runners that could be, you know, amazing to the movement.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you can come and cheer on me and shout at me in the last 10 meters. I'll appreciate that if you shout at me in LA.
Most definitely. Yeah.
So for me, I've always felt that one of the biggest things for me to succeed was my family network. And as I was scrolling through your Instagram, I seen obviously loads of photos of your family, and you obviously feel like they're a big part of making.
Yeah, I'm bad at, for everybody that is watching, please forgive me. I'm bad at multitasking and conversating and looking down and see who is leaving messages. I've seen so many amazing people that follow me. Some of you I don't know, but thank you guys for the amazing feedback. And my mom, of course, is on there. And I saw my sister. I know they're all on there. So I appreciate them watching. Yeah, of course, family is very important to me. You know, they are the backbone, and they are the ones that supported me from the beginning, when a lot of people had said, well, you know, why are you doing this? You know, you may want to find a career. I knew that at the end of the day that, you know, there's my mom again. Hi, Mom. I knew at the end of the day, you know, we're all put here for a purpose. You know, at this point in time in my career, my purpose is to be someone else's eyes. My purpose is to make sure David Brown, I've ran with an amazing guy. The first person that I was able to get across the finish line in a gold medal was 2008. A guy by the name of Josiah Jamison. I was able to be his eyes. Lexus Gillette, I was able to be his eyes. Another guy, Lacey Porter, who was the first guy that I ran in with a race in 2004 in Athens. I was able to be his eyes. Those are the things that keep me involved into the sport, and allow me to see that I am valuable, that I am needed. So those are the things, and once again, the family backs me on that 110%. So you'll tend to see on my storyline when I go home, me and my family being silly, and that's not even just on social media. That's just how we are, period. We're very close-knit family, and they support me in any and everything that I do, and that makes life easy. Trust me, it makes it so easy.
Yeah, because as I was looking through your Instagram, it made me smile so much seeing photos of your mom. And I mean, like with my family, obviously, you know, I live a couple hours away, but obviously I'm down for lockdown just now, and everyone's like, oh, are you falling out with them yet? Are you having arguments yet? And I'm like, no, like I love my family. I get on really well with them, and it makes it so much easier when you get on so good. And yeah, it makes you, you know, for me, obviously, you do your sport, but knowing they're there pushing you on, it does really inspire you when there's that family backing.
Oh yeah, and I understand that a couple of days ago was your father's birthday, so happy belated birthday to your father. He's paying attention.
He'll be very happy. He just finished off the rest of his chocolate cake. I watched him like an absolute animal shovel it down. I've never been so proud of someone in all my life. You should have seen it.
Nice.
So, what would be your 3 keys to success, do you think? Would you have 3 things that you think you need to be successful in sport?
Trust, communication, and selflessness. Yeah. Those are definitely the things in what I do that allowed me to be successful. You know, being a guide runner, you have to understand that, once again, this isn't about you. So can you sit back as a guide runner and be selfless? If you can't, then you wouldn't I don't think make a great guide runner.
Yeah. Yeah, I always get asked
Yeah.
whenever I go and speak to schools or I speak to anyone, they always ask me about my 3 keys to success, because I think it's always something that is so transferable in everyday life, like even to my friends, and they're not sporty people, and I think the things you can learn through sport are so transferable through everyday life, and it's like them 3 there, there's something that people should live by every single day, and so it's interesting to hear what your 3 successes would
Yeah,
be.
most definitely. Most definitely. Yeah. I mean, we don't always have, there's been times where we've been at competitions and we didn't do our best, but you have to sometimes sit back, analyze things, and go back to the drawing board.
Do you find it easy with David, like if you don't do a race well together, do you find it easy to kind of take a step back, have a look at what's happened and push through? Or have you ever had a moment where you've both been like, we don't know how we're going to get faster? Or do you always know that you're improving?
I mean, there is times where you know pretty much. You know when you're ready to go and when you're not ready to go. You know whether you're prepared. The confidence, the way you walk, the way you talk, it says it all right there. And I think for both of us last year, with everything that has been going on, last year was our first loss since we've ever been paired up since 2014. So that was tough. But it also goes to show you that the sport is growing.
Yeah.
And everybody is now catching up. So what do we have to do to tweak those things to stay great? And we know exactly what we have to do. And the cool thing about, unfortunately, the games and the Paralympics games being postponed is that it gave us a little bit more time, which is deadly, especially for David Brown, to reflect and focus and understand those mistakes that he has made or we've made as a team, to get it right, to get back on track. And leading into this year, before it was postponed, we were ready to go. We're ready to go. And at the end of the day, we're doing what we can apart from each other to be prepared when it's time to get back to the track.
Yeah, so you must have seen that. Obviously, a lot of people in everyday life would see a defeat as a defeat. Obviously, you've seen it as more of a growing, a chance to push harder and actually show that you are the greatest and push through.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Yeah, we'll be ready, prepared. What got you there will keep you there. That's a saying that I've heard over and over through other people. What got you there will keep you there. And sometimes when you're there, you have to train that much harder to stay there. You have so many people that are looking at you like, I know who David Brown is, and I know who Jerome Avery is. I know what they're capable of doing. What do I have to do to be better? So you have people that are tweaking things, that are now finding those ways to be right there with us. Now it's up to us to tweak those little things that we were doing in order to reach the next level or the platform to be better than where we're at right now.
So you're definitely seeing
this. I saw a post right there. Excuse me real quick. Somebody says, how are we feeling pretty much with the Paralympic Games of 2021?
Yeah.
I think with us on our end, we're going to be ready, and it's a global thing. It's not just one country that isn't going to be at the games. It's all of us as a whole that aren't going to be at the games this year.
Yeah.
So preparing for the next year, I personally, I think that there's going to be a lot of world records being broke. Whether it's the Olympics or the Paralympics, there's going to be a lot of world records being broke. People are hungry. People are excited. People have been training hard to prepare for 4 years for this moment. Me as a veteran guide runner and being at the games, I'm a little bit more patient, so I'm not as anxious. But you have those that this year would have been their first games.
Yeah.
So they may be more anxious. But for those that are preparing for that first game, what I'd like to say is sit back, do exactly what you've been doing. What got you there will keep you there. Next year, you're going to be prepared. You have a little bit more time to tweak those little things that you might have felt that you needed to work on. So for those that have had some concerns about the games being postponed until next year, you know, it may be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what that was literally, when you said that question, that was literally what the question I was about to ask was. Yeah, it's, if people keep asking me, oh, it's such a shame about this, but you know, it gives us another year to get stronger and better and faster. And I already felt good this year, and I know that I can feel even faster and better next year. So it's for everyone. It's to give you that extra year. It's not something to be seen as a negative thing at all. It is something to be like, right, I've got another year to get better and faster for, you know, the biggest competition in the world. It's you know, it's Paralympic Games. It's not just a little small thing, and it is big, and you know, you want to be in the best shape possible, and it gives you that extra year to be in that best shape.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everybody's going to be prepared. Everybody is also going to sit back, and this is the time to reflect, to understand why you are involved in the sport, why you train as hard as you do. And the hardest time to reflect and prepare is now, because we're all pretty much at home, or we're trying to find little areas that we can go to, you know, keep our distance from apart, but still getting in that hard work, you know, to prepare for next year. And we're going to come out just as hungry and just as motivated. And for me personally, knowing the coach that I have, Joaquin Cruz, I don't want to go to the first day of practice out of this quarantine being totally out of shape, because I don't want him to think that I haven't done anything. So finding ways to you know, to better yourself at home or around of training is definitely important.
Yeah, definitely. It's about staying motivated. You know, obviously normally you get motivated by the next race you've got, and we don't have that. You don't know when the next race is going to be exactly. So it is just
Exactly.
and just like you say, it's about finding the love of training, the love of the sport, and that's what, you know, we'll see that difference. We'll see who really loves the sport and who loves the training, and we'll see that big time next year. Definitely, it'll be exciting to see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be prepared no matter what. You never know what's going to happen. You don't know when this thing is going to be officially lifted. So you have to be prepared. You don't know if there's going to be competitions that are going to open up later on down the line. So be prepared is what I like to say, at your best. Be prepared.
Yeah, definitely. So what kind of advice?
Definitely don't sit home and not do anything.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about being an elite athlete, we find so many different ways of getting that workout in, getting that work done.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So what kind of advice would you give to anyone really wanting to try sport for the first time?
I say do it. You know, me personally, I've never been involved as a guide runner. I was an individual athlete, and when my dreams of becoming an Olympian didn't go through, I was just able to allow that opportunity of guide running to manifest itself, and I created something out of nothing, you know, and I just try. I just you're not going to know what's out there until you give yourself the opportunity of doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think sport has so many incredible powers of lifting everyone's spirits, you know, and it doesn't have to be a high, you know, you don't have to be aiming to be an international athlete and getting out every day to do little something. It is always going to lift everyone's spirits in some sort of way.
Yeah, I mean, talk to someone that is involved in the sport, you know, find out if it is for you. I think the cool thing about our community, or the community of the Paralympics, is that we have so many social media platforms from so many different disabilities, is that it's easy to find out now whether or not we could do the sport, or whether or not we would like to do the sport or try it out. You know, we can go to your platform and you're giving feedback or allowing us the opportunity to, you know, figure out whether if it is for them or if it's not for them. You know, and keeping you motivated too. You're motivating people. Even if you don't think that you are, you're a big motivator, and those are the things that actually inspire other people that are paying attention and watching now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think we're getting close to the hour. We're probably going to get kicked off Instagram Live soon. But I just want to say thank you so much. I was actually a bit nervous about coming on and doing this, because it's so different.
No, this is
so
cool.
different asking someone the questions, But like,
Okay. Yeah.
like
This
it was
is
so
I'm assuming that that'll be a little bit different because I have to do that next Sunday.
Yes, you do, exactly. Like, yeah, last week was a bit easier because I was just answering the questions this week, but it was exciting to learn about. Obviously, we're all under the band of athletics, but we don't often race at the same competitions without it being a Worlds or a Paralympics or anything. So I don't really know much about about guide running or anything like that. So I did have some questions, and as soon as I started writing questions down, I was like, oh, actually, there's loads of things that I really want to know and want to ask, and I really do feel like I've learned a lot, and you've definitely inspired me. And yeah, I'll try and be less out of the zone next time you say hi. I'll give you a little bit more.
Please do, please do. And with everybody out there watching, just take your time. Take your time with getting back. We're all under the same rules. Let's just stick together as a family. Let's love each other. I know we're at home with loved ones that we're surrounded with every single day. Let's love each other. We're all going to get through this together. And yeah, here's to 2021 Paralympic Games in Japan.
It is. So yeah, thank you so much. And I'll be looking forward to hearing you next week speaking.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's stay in touch too. Let's stay in touch.
Definitely. No, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See you guys.
See you later.